Boy Bye, Part 3 by Dana Elizabeth. The summer was full of long, adventurous days and even longer, thrill-seeking nights. Kyle and I had begun to bond on a whole other level. He was really helping me drop my guard and trust that I deserved a loving relationship. Ever since my father passed away, I had been stuck in a mental space where I was just using men for the physical needs or if I wanted company. But my experience with Kyle was way different because I honestly knew in my heart that I enjoyed his presence. He makes me smile, and I feel safe to relax when he's around. He recently took a job at a correctional facility that housed young adults, teenagers to be more specific. I was happy for him and his new path, and I supported him 100%, although it was strange not working together anymore. But the distance apart made us closer, or so I thought. End of the day came so fast. As I walked to the parking lot and began to load my trunk of my car with my belongings, I could hear the phone alerting me that someone has sent me a text message. And I recognized the text tone, so I already knew it was Kyle. Quickly, I ran to open the door and sit down to read his message. Hey, Kiara. I'm working a double shift tonight, so can you reschedule our reservations? Was the text that appeared on the phone screen. My initial reaction was feeling annoyed because Kyle knew how much I wanted to see this show. And he knew I had been waiting on this night for over a month now. There was no guarantee that I could reschedule because I believe this evening was the only available date in my state. The composer's name was Paul Woods. He was a famous composer known for his cinematography and other orchestrated works associated with film and music. This was a live show where he orchestrated musicians to play his music while the film that he produced played in the background. It was pure art, and I definitely was not going to miss this show. I quickly shifted my energy before I replied back. I knew that at the moment, Kyle felt as though his job was more important, and that was okay with me. So I replied, "Oh no, I really wish you could have gone, but I'm not going to reschedule because I really have been looking forward to seeing this concert. I totally understand. I'll call you or text you when I get home," and I pressed send. One thing I had learned since my father was gone is that life was short. I valued my time. I was not going to stop and wait for anyone if I wanted to do something. I tossed my phone in the passenger seat, not waiting for a response from Kyle, started my engine and headed home to get ready to see Mr. Paul Woods. The evening was awesome. The art was magnificent, and each moment I experienced made me proud of my decision to keep my plans, regardless of Kyle backing out or not. The date with myself was a total success. Once I got home, I was exhausted, especially after working all day, so I jumped in the shower, poured a glass of wine, and dove in the bed to get some rest. I saw that Kyle had texted me to see if I made it home, but I shared my location with him when I got in, so I was more than aware that he knew the answer to his questions, and I honestly was so tired, I didn't want to talk or text. It was Friday night, so I was looking forward to sleeping in until I got a knock on my front door at 7 a.m. As I struggled to open my eyes, I could see on the security camera that it was Kyle, standing out there with a bag and a bouquet of flowers. I quickly got up and put on my house coat and went downstairs to meet him at the door. The visit was abnormal for him because he always called. He never just popped up on me. Obviously surprised, I opened the door and greeted him. "Good morning, Kyle. This is a surprise," I said, as I extended my hand to receive the flowers that he was presenting me with. "I'm so sorry," he began. "I knew how bad you wanted to see that show." "I'm so sorry, Kiara. I came over this morning because I just really feel like shit for canceling on you. Can I make you some breakfast and make it up to you? You know, call it a truce, he added. As I stood there still baffled that he was at my house, he slowly walked past me and headed in the direction of the kitchen. What's wrong with you? He said. Cat got your tongue? No, I snapped back. I'm just not used to you popping up on me and apologizing and shit. We both laughed and I began to help Kyle remove the food from the bags. He brought all of my favorite breakfast snacks, my favorite blueberry bagels, maple sausage that I loved, and he had the ingredients to make an omelet. My mouth began to water because Kyle was a good cook, so I knew I was about to enjoy breakfast. Before I knew it, he was leaving the kitchen. I asked him where he was going. He said he had left something in the car. I nodded my head to acknowledge that I heard him, and he disappeared from the kitchen. As I was prepping the food, I realized that I never heard the series of beeps that typically go off when the door is opened. My intuition was telling me that Kyle had not left and he was still in the house. I walked towards the front door and there was no sight of Kyle, but I could hear the sound of someone walking upstairs, and On Rainbow wasn't here. So I knew it was Kyle. I didn't feel the need to go up after him, but I was curious about what he was doing. I yelled up the stairwell, "Hey, you get lost?" There was no response. Alarmed at his silence, I called out again, this time being more specific that I was speaking to him. "Hey, Kyle, what's up? I thought you had to get something out the car." Still, I was met with silence. Not giving it another thought, I went straight upstairs to see why Kyle was ignoring me, and furthermore, what was he doing upstairs in my bedroom? As I got closer to the bedroom door, I began to tiptoe as not to alarm him. But when I opened my door that was already cracked, he was just sitting there on the bed, holding my dress that I wore the night before to the concert in his hands. He had an unfamiliar look on his face. Trying quickly to process what was happening, I did the most logical thing and I asked him, what was he doing in my room and why did he have my dress? He stood up intensely at me and said, "So who did you go to the concert with?" I went by myself," I said, confused by his line of questions. "No, you didn't," he said. "I smell a man's cologne on your dress, so why are you lying to me?" I'm not lying," I replied as I began to giggle at his accusations. However, still confused. "So why are you laughing at me? You must think I'm stupid or something. Now it makes sense why you didn't care if I came to the concert or not," he continued. I quickly got overwhelmed with the energy exchange, and I just asked Kyle to leave. But that was the wrong move. All of a sudden, he lunged towards me, got right in my face, and said, "I'm going to ask you one more time, and if you lie, this relationship is over." I was so shocked and confused, and for some reason, the words would not even come out my mouth, although in my head, I was saying, "Get your crazy ass out my house." Kyle was 6'2", and I stood 5'8", so here I was being subjected to a random interrogation by this man who was towering over me. All I could think about was how I wish my dad was here. Kyle and I had never had any arguments, so I was not in familiar territory. Then suddenly I heard my Aunt Rainbow's voice projecting from the phone. Later, we had discovered that Kyle sat on the phone when he sat on my bed, and he accidentally called my Aunt Rainbow, who was listening to the whole exchange. "Kiki, you okay?" she shouted through the phone with a concerned tone. "Yes," I said, regaining my strength to talk. "What's going on? Sounds like Kyle's trying to go to jail or hell. I'm not sure which one, but I am 5 minutes from the house. Come open the damn door." Kyle's eyes got so big. He was just as startled as me to learn that my Aunt Rainbow had heard everything. I sighed and exhaled as I could feel the pressure and anxiety releasing from my body. I quickly headed down the stairs for the front door with Kyle following me steps behind. He didn't say anything. He just grabbed his keys from the kitchen and left. I didn't say anything to him either because I didn't know what to say because Kyle had just shown me a side of him I've never seen and a side I didn't want to know. I sat on the screen porch waiting and watching as he pulled off and Aunt Rainbow pulled up. She didn't even park the car. She jumped out, still in her pajamas, walking rapidly towards the house. "Where is that creep?" she said as she waved her taser in her right hand. "He left, Auntie. It was so weird. I never saw him act like that. I don't even know what started all of this," I said, clearly baffled. "It doesn't matter what started it," Aunt Rainbow said, "but I guarantee his ass, I'll be the one to finish it." "Hold on. Let me go park the car and I'll be right back," she said. Sitting there shocked and scratching my head, I couldn't process what had just happened. Kyle and I had been dating now for about 6 months, and this was the first time that I ever saw any type of jealousy. I mean, we used to play about cheating scenarios, but I never felt the spirit of jealousy on him. "Come on here, Kiki. Let's go back inside," she said as she grabbed my hand and led the way. She was visibly upset, and she began to express how she felt about Kyle. I knew I never liked that sneaky looking boy. Always fake smiling every time he was around. He was too quiet for me anyway, she continued. When a man is that quiet, he's hiding something. And he was always saying he loved you, which I also thought was a red flag because y'all didn't even know each other that well. At least not well enough for somebody to keep saying they love you. You know, he was just love bombing. At first, I just thought it was puppy love or something, you know? She wasn't looking for a response from me. She wasn't even looking at me. She was just sitting next to me on the couch, talking. "You know what?" she said, as if she had an epiphany. "Everybody always would gossip about, was he really the one that killed that girl? I mean, I know he was acquitted and all, but it's like some people would not change their minds about him. And they kept saying that he actually shot her on purpose." Aunt Rainbow just shook her head, acknowledging to herself that her epiphany was some type of intuitive download. "I'm telling you," she said. "After hearing how he was lining you up with those questions, I thought he was going to hit you." "I did too, Auntie. I ain't gonna lie. I was shook. He was just standing there. He just started out of nowhere. His eyes looked crazy." "Well, he's gone now, so don't trip. We're going to the police station today, and we're going to file a restraining order. And you need to block him. Don't accept any of his calls." "A restraining order?" I questioned, "but nothing happened," I said. "Something did happen, dummy. He threatened you. Or that's what you're going to tell the police." The end. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more short stories.